Hey, I'm Zachary Cowan, the author of the Study Daily books, and thanks for joining me for a look at Doctrine and Covenants, Section 84, Part 1. I'm here on vacation at my in-laws, and I hope that you can hear these videos pretty good. All right, so Doctrine and Covenants, Section 84 starts off with this great thing like the Lord is saying in verse 1, because you've gathered together, I can give you revelation. I'm going to give you revelation about why I want people to gather together. The whole reason, he says in like verses 2 through 5, to restore the gospel is to restore his people, his covenant people of Israel, and to build temples. Because once you have a people that gather, they can use their means together to build cities and to then build temples, which allows him to really give the fullness of the priesthood ordinances that he's been planning on, which is really cool. So verse 5, you should mark and change something. It says, this generation won't pass away until we have a temple. That would be better termed if it said, this dispensation won't pass away until we build a temple in Missouri. Now, the whole purpose of temples then is to give people priesthood ordinances. So check out verses like 6 through 17. You get this list of Moses's priesthood lineage and where it gets it from. And so it's just handed down again and again and again. The people are coming from the lineage of their fathers and under the hand of this person. And as you look at that, you might think, oh, I wish we knew a little bit more about that person. And that would be super interesting. But we don't have a whole lot of information on these people. So when you look at that, consider this. What is it that you're passing on to your generations, to your children, to your sons and your daughters? Are you passing on priesthood ordinances and faithfulness and covenant? That's kind of generational thinking. And when we have generational thinking, it changes the way that we behave and how we do things. All right, the next section, and we're going to spend some time here. You might want a piece of paper and divide it in half. And on one line, you're going to write down everything you learn about the priesthood as you study, and on one section. And on the other section, all the questions you still have, or as you study, what questions you have. So go ahead, pause your video, and look at verses 17 through 32. What are the different things you learn about the priesthood, and what questions do you still have about it? All right, we'll see you in a minute. Hey, thanks for studying. So you probably saw that there's two different types of priesthood. There's the Aaronic and the Melchizedek, and they have two different purposes. If people are unwilling to come into the presence of God through the ordinance of the Melchizedek priesthood, then they have the preparatory priesthood, the Aaronic priesthood, which is to prepare them for those ordinances. So in verse 20, we learned that the ordinance of the Melchizedek priesthood found in the temple, like in the endowment, their whole purpose is to qualify us or to turn us into the type of people that can be in the presence of God because we're like him. In fact, the power of godliness is manifest in those ordinances. Those covenants, through those ordinances, if you live them like sacrifice and obedience and consecration and the gospel and chastity, all of those things turn you into a person who is godly. So are your ordinances, your temple covenants, are they doing that for you? Are they changing you and transforming how you think and feel? That's a powerful, powerful thing about why God ever gathers people, why he builds temples. He doesn't do that just so he has pretty buildings. He does it so he has incredible people who are dedicated to him, who have become like him, both men and women. This is incredible. All right, so what other questions do you still have about the priesthood? Maybe this section will continue to answer them as we study. As you join me next time for part 2. Thanks for studying. We'll see you.